May I express a thing to you? I would like to express a thing. I am single, and I get so annoyed when people say, well, don't you think you're too picky? Do you think your standards are too high? No, sir. No, ma'am. I sure don't. And here's why. I don't have time to date someone just for fun, okay? I don't have time to waste my time. I am not out here requiring guys to be a certain height or a certain weight or to have a certain eye color or hair color. I would get that. Those standards might be a little too picky. But you better believe that I am going to have the highest standards for how I am treated.
Wow! That's amazing!
Yeah, that sounds like a load of horse malarkey, sister. Let me explain something to you. You have no excuse in this day and age to be single. Not at least at your age. There is an army of men out there who'd be more than happy to put up with you, but you denied all of them because those men weren't a specific height, they didn't have the right hairstyle, eye color, or that teeny tiny slight issue of not being rich enough for you. And that's on you, lady. You could have avoided all of this, but doing so would force you to admit that A, you're not perfect, B, not living in a fantasy world, and C, your standards are far too high. And all of this could have been avoided if you just humbled yourself a bit. But then again, you're a modern woman. If you humbled yourself, that would imply that you're not queen of the universe. And we all know you can't have that.
You don't want to put true effort into talking to me and getting to know me? Okay, there's someone else out there who will. You want to not respond to me for days and not give me any explanation? Okay, you won't hear from me again. You like me, but you're not ready for something serious? Okay. Good luck to you, but we're not gonna date or do anything romantic. If I am consistently dating someone, it is because I see a potential future with that person. I'm well aware every relationship has its faults. I'm well aware nobody is perfect, but I will not tolerate disrespect. I will not stay in a place that I feel I don't belong or that I feel I'm not appreciated, and I will not compromise my standards for anyone, period. I don't set standards for others that I can't meet myself. If I am expecting something from someone, it's because I expect the same from me.
Congratulations!
Hold the phone there, lady. You just said that you're not here to waste time, but then you've just described the textbook scenarios of trying to force one Dr. Pookie McRae PhD to commit to you, which is a classic case of wasting your most fertile years of your life in exchange for feeling like you have a shot at getting your Disney princess fantasy fulfilled. The good doctor didn't have to respond to your text or commit to you because he had 12 of you on speed dial and he knew that you would submit every single time. And regardless of how adequate of bedroom fun you provided, if you became a pain in his neck, he was gonna move on to the next chick and leave you to figure out the mess. You need to face reality, woman, and that mess is obvious. The good doctor left the refrigerator door open, and now your eggs are starting to spoil. At this point in your life, you have absolutely no right to be picky at all.
If my standards aren't your cup of tea, guess what? You don't have to date me. It's fine. You do you. You have the standards you want. You have the expectations you want. But don't tell me that mine are too high, or that I'm expecting too much, or that I'm not going to find what I'm looking for. Because you want to know a secret? Yes, I would like to be in a relationship someday, but there is no way in heck I am settling just to be in one. If I happen to not find what I'm looking for, okay, then I'll be single. One of my favorite quotes is, I know what I bring to the table, so I'm not afraid to eat alone. I'm not out here looking for a relationship that's just okay or is pretty good. I'm out here looking for the real thing. I'm not here to waste my time or someone else's time. If it's not the real thing, I don't want it.
Well, my response to that is get used to eating alone while surrounded by couples because that's your future. Here's the problem. You got it backwards. You're focusing too much on what a man can provide for you when you really shouldn't be doing that. Men are gonna take one look at you and realize the price of a cup of coffee just to have an awkward conversation on a first date is too high of a price. You are in no position to be thinking about your demands. What you should be asking yourself is how you can make yourself worthy to the men you actively ignored for the last decade and a half. Why should the average Joe want to date you and try to give you the real thing? No self-respecting man is gonna do that. You're too self-absorbed and desperate. And the self-respecting man deserves the real thing as well, which is something you're incapable of providing. So you should probably take my advice and stock up on cat food and boxed wine before the price surges again. Trust me, sister, you're gonna need it.
That's funny because it's so true.
Would you describe yourself as a feminist?
Yes.
Do you believe in gender equality?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how do you reconcile believing in gender equality, but also holding men to their traditional gender roles of paying for the first date?
Well, I'm just saying that's my personal view. A woman being a feminist is just doing whatever you want to do. And not being bashed by society for that. And
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
So in other words, you think feminism is a get out of responsibility card. This is why your modern feminist is a complete and utter hypocrite. Well, let's be fair, they would be if they were capable of spelling such a complicated word, but I digress. Feminists like to pretend that they're oppressed, so therefore they should be allowed to sleep around, start up OnlyFreaks accounts, and accumulate psychological damage like they do clothes and trinkets, but also at the same time think that men need to be gentlemen and watch them shove overpriced food down their gullets and pay for the experience. However, when you ask a feminist how they're oppressed, their typical examples usually involve stuff that happened over 100 years ago, or things that are so lazily researched that a simple 5-minute Google search will completely destroy their arguments. So I think what you meant to say was that you don't feel like you should have to take any accountability for your actions while still expecting to be treated like a proper lady by society. Sorry, doesn't work that way, sister.
obviously, standing up for like women's like rights and stuff like that. But when I don't know, I just feel like this question's really dense.
My question is, if you believe in gender equality, don't you think you ought to split the bill on the first date?
No, because my main concern with gender equality is through, like, yes, in society, like fixing that, and through like the system. But yeah, I don't, oh my god.
Shut up! This is totally different!
The question isn't dense, woman. You're dense because you know you're wrong. But there's this belief amongst modern women that if they ever admit the truths to themselves, then that truth gremlin is gonna appear to steal their phone and delete all of their social media accounts right before taking all of their designer clothes and making tiny red stains in the most inconvenient of places, like around the armpit area and whatnot. So instead of admitting that she needlessly feels like she's entitled to a man's money, even though she owns her own money by being an online walker of the streets, she's just gonna blame society for some oppression that doesn't exist, only to try to get out of answering specifics the only way she knows how, by having a mild emotional outburst and pretending to be a victim because the question is too hard to answer. It's a classic play from the modern women's playbook. And woman, if you want to play that card, that's fine. All you're doing is proving what we already know, and that's your brain is mostly made of styrofoam packing that's held together with masking tape and broken dreams.
I know it, your family knows it. Dogs know it.
Have you ever wondered what someone is thinking of you? Well, did you know that there are some psychological ways to find out what someone actually thinks of you? Could be a friend, the person you like, your boss, literally anyone. As a therapist with a doctoral degree in psychology, I have literally spent my life studying human behavior, so I know that these things are true.
And
Well, I don't have a PhD, but I did once sleep at a reasonably priced budget hotel one time back in the mid-2010s, so I think that makes me more than qualified to comment on the subject of human pair bonding. The easiest way to find out if someone likes you is just to walk up to them and ask. Is it awkward? Of course, but so is life. But you get on with it, rip the band-aid off, and go from there. You don't need a laundry list of body language cues to figure it out. But we're already here. I got my shoes on, so let's go ahead and hear what this broad has to say. Who knows? If I'm dumb enough, I might just learn something.
So the first thing you're gonna do to find out what they think of you, this is gonna be a little challenging because it requires you to get vulnerable. You're gonna have to open up to them a little bit. You're gonna tell them about something that is really bothering you. You are gonna go into detail on why this is a problem for you and why you don't know how to fix it. You're gonna pay super close attention to their response. If they're like most people, they're just gonna sit there and listen empathetically and do their best to be a good friend. But if they have like a special affinity for you, like if they like you, they're gonna start jumping in and offering solutions to the problem. They're gonna try to fix it for you. When we like someone, we subconsciously wanna be their hero. So pay close attention to if they try to jump in and be the hero for you. If they do, they like you. Then
Nope. That would be a waste of time.
Well, that would be all well and good if modern women didn't make it clear that men are not to offer solutions when the woman gripes. For some reason, it's considered annoying. And under circumstances that are far too common these days, if a woman gets annoyed with her man for offering a solution to one of her problems, she will go to social media to dramatically rant to a degree that's almost comical. But the commenters will then tell her that her significant other is a controlling narcissist and that she needs to break up with him for her own mental health, thus planting the seeds of the destruction of the relationship. So we're better off just shutting up and doing nothing when she rants, but then she'll be convinced that we don't care about her, and then she'll turn to social media once again, where the commentary will be more or less the same thing. Either way, we're in the wrong and we can't win.
Next thing you're gonna do to find out what they think of you. Next time you walk into a room that they're already in, you are gonna watch their body language so closely. Do they change their body position when you enter the room? Doesn't even matter if this is a crush relationship or a friendship situation. When someone we like enters a room, we almost always subconsciously shift our body position. This is totally subconscious and is because we want to impress them. So regardless of how they were sitting when you entered the room, if they change their position, they like you.
That doesn't make sense.
Sure, they could change their body position, but that could mean 1.5 million things, and I'm not even referring to the man's feelings towards that particular woman. Considering a modern woman will be furious with a man if she even dreams that he's cheating on her, she could react to this change in body language in over 9 dozen different ways. Let's say she walked into the room and Chad shifts in his seat to turn his back to her. What's to stop that woman from assuming that Chad's just being shy? A modern woman is gonna see what she wants to see and will deny basic reality when she doesn't, and any basic reality that she can't deny, she will bend and distort until it makes sense in her own brain. That's why if an average guy shifts his weight to face her, she will immediately assume he's being creepy, and that's if she sees him at all. It may sound ridiculous because it shouldn't be nearly this common as it is nowadays.
Finally, guys, this is the kicker. This is the one subconscious thing that every person who likes you will always do. So pay close attention. The next time you're together, you're gonna play a little game and start putting things in between the two of you, like your purse, a drink, it doesn't matter. If they like you, they are gonna start shifting those items to the side or taking them away entirely. They'll do this subconsciously because of the primal need to remove any barriers between themselves and the person they like.
Say what now? What now?
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but that just sounds like a god-awful idea. You're talking about physically moving a woman's property, and that's just asking for trouble. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but physically taking a woman's purse and moving it to the side is grounds for a knife fight in certain countries. Don't even get me started on how terrible of an idea it is to move a woman's drink just to get closer to her. There's no need for any of these mind games. If you want to know a guy likes you, walk up to him and stop focusing on subtle hints, overanalyzing body language, and overrated dreams of romance and Prince Charming, and just ask the stupid question. But that's never gonna happen. Modern women refuse to admit that their lives aren't a romantic comedy, and it doesn't help me any now because now I have to live in worry that a woman's going to assume I'm a stalker because I shifted in my bar stool because my ass got numb the second she walked into the room. That's just wonderful. Thanks for nothing, woman. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents, and as always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a comment or two. Let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Keep that strive to thrive and stay alive, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.